In the most holy name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who of course came to us in the divine person of Master Hard Muhammad. I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is in fact his divine messenger, the exalted Christ. And I further bear witness that the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder, comforter, mercy from Allah, and divine warner in our midst. It is in their names that we greet our beautiful sisters and brothers in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
How's everybody feel?
Fine, sir.
Happy Savior's Day.
Happy
Praise be to Allah. Man, it's such a blessing to be here this morning on this holiest of holy days in the devil's calendar.
Yes, sir.
Super Bowl Sunday. I'm so glad that we all made it, before we watch this fixed game jump off. If we're going to watch it. We're in a very critical hour, fam.
Yes, sir.
And we're in the right place, of course, at the right time, because this tiny little humble nation of Islam, of course, is the only place where we're going to get true
Yes, sir.
and righteous guidance in this hour.
Yes, sir.
We're really, when you really think about it, we're really the only ones who really know what's actually going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so it's a blessing to come here. It's a blessing to me to see all of your beautiful faces, because that lets me to know that we realize the hour and the time. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm not the principal speaker today. Today we're going to hear from our beautiful brother who comes up from Colorado Springs, Brother Student Minister Ashton Muhammad, who will give us a defense of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And of course, that's a very timely subject, because we're not hearing from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we're not hearing from the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In this hour, the minister told us that the messenger told him to be quiet, to come on in, right? And let the events that are taking place in the world speak for him. So that's very, very important. But in the meantime, in between time, as bearers of witness of what and who the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan are, it is our duty to defend them. Is that right? This is the hour, believe it or not, of the crucifixion. Is that right?
That's right.
And when Jesus went to trial, as we remember in the scriptures, he didn't say nothing.
Not a word.
Not a word. But those of us who have been affected,
That's right.
who have been infected, those of us who were once blind but now we can see, those of us who once were deaf and now we can hear, those of us who were dumb and now we can speak, those of us who were dead and now we're alive by Allah's permission. It is our duty to defend the Jesus. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Man. So I'm anxious to hear from what our student minister has to say with regards to this. But I want to implore each and every one of us, before we bring him up, to just be cognizant of the time. Be cognizant of the time and what we've been taught. I know since our new president has taken office, He's been doing a lot.
Yes, sir.
He's been doing a lot. He and Elon Musk and the rest of the Billionaire Boys Club up in Washington now have been doing a lot. And it reminds us of what we learned in Message to the Black Man and in other teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad of what would happen in this hour.
That's right.
See, Trump coming in and Elon coming in, and they shutting down entire government agencies.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
They shutting down. They offering the CIA and the FBI a buyout. They shutting down the USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development. And what's interesting about that particular organization is there are others on the left who are saying that the USAID is actually a front for the CIA.
Yeah, that's right.
A way for them to get into different countries and basically destabilize their government under the guise of helping.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
But Trump, they shutting that down.
Yeah.
And why I said it reminds me of what we learned in Message to the Black Man and the other teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that one day we would come to the doors of our jobs, the factory doors, and they would be shut. They would be closed.
That's right.
And so during this last administration with Mr. Biden, he gave a lot of our people, black women, jobs. Right?
Yes,
In exchange for their vote.
That's right.
Remember, Biden was losing. Just a quick baby history lesson. And then he went to our brother in South Carolina, James Clyburn.
Yeah.
And he galvanized the Democrats, but mainly the black Democrats. And James Clyburn is an old school politician. He not going to give you something for nothing. Right?
That's right.
So he bargained on the part of a lot of black people in the South to get those government jobs.
That's right.
Which Biden gave them. But now here comes Trump. Shut the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shut the door. So that's the hour that we're living in. We recognize it because we've been in the teachers and we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you could be so close to a thing that you don't even know what it is.
That's right.
Right? If you put your hand in front of your face like that, you be like, what is that? You got to actually move it back and take a better look at it to see what's really going on. And so we see the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad coming to fruition to a T. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has never lied to us.
That's right.
Never. Not once.
That's right.
He offered up money.
That's right.
And ain't nobody collected yet.
Not yet.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has never lied to us.
That's right.
Not once.
That's right.
He'll say something like Trump being the last president. We bring it up. That was in 2020.
That's right.
In the garden. In front of the world. Before Biden became president,
That's right.
the minister said that Trump will be the last American president. And then Biden got elected, and some of us look like, wait a minute. He said.
Yeah.
But he was able to see something that we weren't able to see.
That's right. That's right.
Man, absolutely. All praise is due to Allah. So with that, family, I don't want to belabor. I want to get right into our minister who's speaking on the defense of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan. So let's bring, with a rousing round of applause, to the rostrum, Brother Student Minister Ashton Muhammad.
All right, bro.
In the most holy and righteous name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful Father, the one true and living God, who came to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all holy praise is forever due. We're forever grateful that when he came, he raised up someone to be a leader, teacher, and guide for us here in the hills of North America. He's the so-called Negro in the hills of North America.
Right.
And I'm just grateful, and I'm sure you are too, when you understand the sacrifice that the Muhammad family made.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He gave up his life. He gave up his family's life, you know. And when somebody can give up that much, I mean, everything, to raise a dead people like us.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, you can't thank them enough. So, but we do try to thank them for the sacrifice they made. And we know that when the messenger had to leave, he left us with someone,
Yes, sir.
again, who sacrificed his life. When Farrakhan said he never went out and, you know, threw a ball with his sons, you know. And there are some of us who can say that same thing. We've sacrificed. So we appreciate that sacrifice. And I just want to acknowledge that sacrifice that the Muhammad family and Farrakhan family made, and those of us who have gone through that as well. So in their names, in the name of Allah, in the name of these great men, I bid you sisters, brothers, greetings, and the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
And as we transition a little bit, you know, we have a little smaller screen. I have a PowerPoint point with this, so inshallah it'll work. So kind of see what I'm got on there when I put it on. We'll see how it works. But we're transitioning over. We'll get there. One day we're going to have our own, but you know we got to go through the struggle.
Yes, sir.
And its struggle is ordained. And so I entitled this Defense of Minister Farrakhan, Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan Part 2, because I couldn't come up with another title other than that when it kind of came together.
Yes, sir.
You know, for a few months ago, I did one that said Defense of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan. So I said, hey, well, this is just Part 2. Right. So that's, inshallah, I will be able to give it to you, and it will make sense in what I'm saying. So I pray that Allah speak through me and not have me do the speaking, because I want to really hit some key points.
Yes, sir.
So inshallah, I'll be able to do that.
Yes,
And but also I can't go without thanking the local leadership and allow me to come up. Thank you, brother, Student Minister Herman, to entrusting me to get up here and to give a lecture. So that means a lot as well, that he would trust me and just ask me, what's the title? And that's all he asked. He didn't tell me what to do. So inshallah, I won't get in trouble today when I get to part of this. But as brother was speaking, he was right. You know, all he knew was the title, but he was right into what I was about to say, at least the first part of it anyway. And what I'm going to say today, it kind of sounds like, it may sound like I'm speaking to only Muslims. But for those who may be listening to this later on a playback, it's really for everybody.
Yes, sir.
But if you don't mind, let me give it as if I'm speaking to just the Muslims in the Nation of Islam. Now, we should be very careful how we carry ourselves and present ourselves nowadays as Muslims.
Right.
And we can't be half-stepping. We can't be sometiming. We can't be taking time off. We can't be taking time away. We have to be in unity, because there's strength in unity.
Right.
Now, in Luke, it says, and the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. Now, we kind of know what sifting means, and especially if you're doing any baking, you know what sifting is. Yeah. But Webster's definition says this. So to sift means to separate, and retain the coarse parts, to separate, to examine closely, to question closely. Now, think about lions hunting on the plains of Africa. How do they hunt? You know, they're chasing a herd of wildebeest. You know, they're not going to, I mean, they sit there and you can see them, you know, on TV. You see, well, I haven't been there, but I saw it on TV. They're scoping out the herd, and they're sitting there looking. They're looking for not the strongest. They're looking for the weak one.
That's right.
Because you could grab a strong one, that strong one might turn around and kill the lion. So he's looking for the weak one. He won't choose those who are in unity. He's going to look for the straggler, the one that's hanging away from the crowd. The lion won't choose the sick. I mean, he will choose the sick. He will choose the old, the slow, or the very young. Now, so when we analyze our faith, is our faith strong?
Come on.
How strong is your belief? Remember, Satan will choose the weak. Are we in unity? Do we come around in fellowship with each other? Or are we a loner? You know, I would say, well, my way of devotion is I don't need to come to the mosque. I can just get it from the books. I can get it from the paper. I can get it from lectures. I don't need to come in fellowship. Satan won't choose those who are in unity. He's going to choose that straggler. So how's your spirit? Do you have a sick spirit? Remember, Satan will choose the sick. How's your thinking? Is your thinking old, or are you progressing in the knowledge, in the teaching of Elijah Muhammad? Because Satan will outthink the old.
Come on. Yes, sir.
Are you slow in responding when called? Do you procrastinate? Satan will choose the slow.
Right.
Are you very young in the teachings? Then you better train up fast, because he can get the very young and cause you to turn. So we are in a country, like brother was saying, that's in trouble. We are in trouble. See, Donald Trump has already started his madness from day one. And choosing people, not that they're qualified, he's choosing people that are loyal to him. Where have we heard that before in history? Now, he's talking about taking countries. He's talking about making Canada the 51st state. He's talking about buying Greenland and saying, well, if they don't want to sell it, we'll go and take it. He's talking about taking the Panama Canal. And what's the other country he's talking about? Oh, Gaza. He said, let's go take it. Now there's a couple of million people. You're just going to walk to Egypt? Is that what you're going to do? With no food or water? And you're just going to go take it, make it a resort for, you know, like I said, the billionaire boys? Yeah, Riviera in the Middle East.
That's right.
So he's talking about taking countries. Where have we heard that?
Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
He's talking about getting rid of the immigrants. And he's doing it. And there's a lot of them.
Rounding them up.
A lot of there's probably quite a few of them that are here legally and they're going too. They're just grabbing people. And they don't care. They're separating families. He don't care. He wants to get rid of them. Now, I don't see him getting rid of any white immigrants, though, but it's non-whites.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, an Afrikaner. He ain't going nowhere. He's calling all of them criminals. You know all those people are not criminals.
Right.
He's even blaming DEI.
Right.
You know, and that's just a catchphrase for blacks. And I think you can throw gays in there too. Hate that when they put us together, but they do. Now, I'm going to get to that. I know many of us are disappointed.
Come on.
But, you know, I just want to say this too, and I don't know if you heard this when Donald Trump was saying about DEI. He mentioned, like, the hearing impaired, the visually impaired, when the plane and the helicopter collided. He said those who are missing external parts, basically limbs, partial paralysis, epilepsy, and even dwarfism.
Come on.
Now he don't want those kind of people. People still have good brains,
Right.
but they have some afflictions.
Right.
In Nazi Germany, the same thing happened.
Hitler did the same thing, brother. Go ahead.
If you got some mental problems or you got a little problem here and there, health problems, you were gone.
Yeah.
Now I know many of us are disappointed and hurt, angered, depressed when Kamala didn't win. Oh yes, quit lying. It was between Kamala Harris and Trump. You know which one. See, we know what Trump is going to do. We know what he's about. I think, hey, get a sister a shot, you know. But, you know, many of us won't admit it, but we were hoping for Kamala Harris to win because we're still looking to the current leadership for salvation when we're taught and told that there's no salvation in the current system of things.
Yeah.
We were disappointed in Brother Barack Obama.
Go ahead.
He said that he did nothing for black people. Now, I want to qualify something now. Very serious tip. There's one thing I cannot accept, I cannot forgive. What happened, how he handled Brother Muammar Gaddafi. But outside of that, I'm just speaking outside of that. As far as a president, Barack Obama was a very good president.
He helped the man.
Yeah. But remember, the minister said that Obama is not a president for black people.
Right.
He said, if you want a black leader, he says there's Reverend Jackson, there's Reverend Sharpton, he said, there's Louis Farrakhan, if you want a black leader. But you can't look at Barack Obama as being a black leader.
He was a manager.
Yeah, he was a manager, he was minding the store.
Go ahead.
And the word that we came up with in the current study guide we're in is a steward.
Yes. Go ahead.
He was a steward. A steward definition is a person put in charge of a large household or estate. He was put in charge.
Yes, sir.
But he reduced the deficit.
Yeah.
He gave a lot of people health care.
Right.
He cleaned up a lot of mess that George Bush had left for him.
Right. Oh, yeah.
See, but black people got mad at Barack. Said they felt betrayed. But Mr. Farrakhan said, you know, if you want a black leader, he's not the one. He couldn't do anything for black people.
That's right. No, sir.
His hands were tied. He was hamstrung.
Right.
And if he tried to do something for black people, they'd have killed him outright.
That's right.
They talk about the 2 assassination attempts against Trump. Barack had over 400 that they caught before, you know, they were able to carry it out.
Right.
Over 400 assassination attempts. They say he kowtowed to the gay community.
Right.
Hey, he needed the votes, man.
Yeah.
A lot of gay folks out there. And I think I tried to research this, but I couldn't find it. So I hope I'm not misleading, misquoting, or I'm incorrect. But I looked for it, I couldn't find it. But I think it was a meeting with the NAACP when Brother Barack Obama actually told them, stop looking towards the government to do something for you.
That's right, he did.
He said, you should be banding together, pooling your resources and doing for yourself. And, you know, I'm paraphrasing, of course. But, man, black folks got mad at him.
Right.
I didn't get mad.
Right.
Because what did he say? He told us he tried to tell us to not depend on the government, to listen to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yeah.
So I wasn't mad. I heard it.
Right.
A lot of black folks, we going there with our hand out, and we don't understand what the man is saying.
Go ahead.
Now, Mr. Farrakhan said at one point, or at least at one point, President Obama said that he was going to create 3 million jobs. And Mr. Farrakhan said, yeah, if he's successful in creating 3 million jobs, how many of us are prepared to get them?
Come on.
We go out there with our hand out saying, give me a job, but we're not preparing ourselves, educating, training ourselves to get those jobs.
Right.
So he can't say, here, this is for you black people. He say, hey, I'm putting some jobs out there. That's the best he could do. Now, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. A couple of weeks before the last election, I thought about what I had heard that the minister had said. I didn't hear it, but I heard that he had said it. And Brother Herman mentioned today, and he had in a lecture about a month ago, about the minister saying that Donald Trump would be the last sitting president.
Yes, he did.
Now, then Biden won. And then we say, well, oh, is the minister wrong?
Right.
But now, then Trump started running. He never went away.
That's right.
Then Trump started running again, but he was behind in the polls. Then Ms. Farrakhan said, the next 3 years will be rough.
Yep, that's
Real
right.
rough next 3 years. Now I'm laying in the bed at night and I can't sleep because those two things are on my mind.
Right.
And I'm thinking, it sounds like the minister's saying that Donald Trump is going to win. Because if he's going to be the last sitting president, so, I mean, 4 years from now, he's going to be way too old.
Right.
It's got to be right now. In a way, I was hoping the minister was wrong. I was kind of in the back of my mind, I was hoping he was wrong. And I got depressed. But then when I thought about it, and then he started gaining in the polls and everything else, and I realized we got to deal with Donald Trump again.
Right.
And Mr. Farrakhan said that Trump will win. But if Trump didn't win, then he can be called a false prophet or a false man. Then I got more depressed. I said, well, I want my leader to be right. So that means Trump's going to be president again.
Right.
See, I didn't even look at the election results that night. I went to bed early. I didn't even look at the election results. I didn't look at the news for the next 2 days, so I already knew what was going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
See, brothers and sisters, we have the man of God
Right.
with us today, and he says what's going to happen and when it's going to happen and what we need to do. He's telling us the time and what must be done.
Yeah.
Now, look at how things happen in the nation of Islam. Because we know what I'm talking about. All I got to do is mention it. When the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad were told not to take the polio vaccine, that was in like 1960.
Yes.
And he told us his followers not to take it. He didn't say why.
Right.
He just said, don't take the polio vaccine. Right. It came out many years later that polio vaccine actually had a contaminant called SV40 that gave millions of black people cancer. I got caught up in that. They were inoculating children in elementary school.
Right.
That day, I was in second grade. And, and for some reason, because you always try to, even when you're this tall, you're trying to be macho. You don't want people to see you crying. I was crying hard. I was screaming. It's like, and I realized later, something in me was telling me, don't take that.
Right.
Even then, I remember a classmate of mine was laughing at me, said, ain't nothing but a little mosquito bite. That brother's dead now.
Wow.
He died about 10 years ago.
Wow.
So, I mean, was it cancer? I didn't investigate, but a lot of my classmates are dead now from that era. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad also taught us how to eat to live.
That's right.
Told us to eat once every 24 hours, once every 48 hours, or once every 72 hours. He told us to fast 3 days out of the month, taught us how to do it. He didn't say why. He just said do it. Now you see white folks coming up about 5-6 years ago, coming up with the intermediate fasting. Even one they called the OMAD diet. You seen that one? OMAD, 1 meal a day. He took it and made it his. Now, so that's how the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, how we were taught in the nation. We're taught what to do. Mr. Farrakhan told us not to take the vaccine.
Yeah, that's right. That's
The COVID vaccine.
That's right.
He didn't say why. He just said don't do it. Now, he said don't do it. We didn't do it. We're okay. Now, there are those who have taken it. We're hearing now a lot of adverse effects, even death from people from taking this vaccine.
Right.
See, God is with us today.
That's right.
We don't have to have reasons why all this to Allah and the messenger. He's saying all through the Holy Quran, obedience to the messenger is obedience to God.
That's right.
Now, brothers and sisters, we have the man of God with us today.
Right.
Many of us say that we believe this, but many or most, if I dare say that, most of us can't defend what we say we believe in.
Come on. Yes, sir.
And many can't defend the men that we say is God in person, the messenger of Allah,
Go ahead. Come on.
and the divine reminder.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Farrakhan said, and I heard him say this, I looked for it, I couldn't find it, but I did hear him say it. He said in either a lecture or something I heard, because I listened to a lot of stuff. He said, we shouldn't even call Mr. Farrakhan the Christ or divine if we can't prove it.
Yeah, teach. That's right.
Because he said a lot of us open up and saying the Christ or the Christ figure with us today. And he said, but what if you get asked the question afterwards, how is he the Christ, and you can't answer it?
Right.
He said, if you can't defend it, don't say it.
Come on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, I was really disturbed. A couple of months ago, I heard, anybody ever heard of Apostle Geno Jennings?
Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead. Geno. Crazy man.
Now, Geno Jennings is sharp.
Yeah, that's right.
That brother is sharp. He's knowledgeable. He teaches a lot of truth.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fearless. And Nation of Islam teaching is in agreement with a lot of what he says.
That's right.
And he'll come after, talking about Christmas, he'll beat them up. He'll come after them. And one time I saw him with somebody was holding a big old picture of a white Jesus. He was slapping on that picture.
Yeah.
This ain't Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with him. I'm with you on that. He said there's no Trinity in the Bible.
Yeah, that's right.
He talks against same-sex marriages. He talks against racism.
Yeah.
He said that in the prayer, the Hail Mary, if you're familiar with that prayer, at one point in the Hail Mary prayer, it says, Holy Mary, Mother of God. He said, Mary is not the mother of God. Mary is the mother of the manifestation of God. But God has no beginning. We differ on that a bit. And he has no ending. So he's saying, no way a woman can give birth to God. Okay? Now, so a lot of the stuff we're pretty close in. And he attacks people. Yeah, Pope. He'll go hit T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat up on the Hebrew Israelites. Oh, he really tear homosexuals apart. Entertainers, he said, Denzel Washington was, I think it was Denzel Washington got baptized. He said he wasn't baptized because they baptized him in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Yeah. So you have to be baptized in the name of Jesus according to the Bible. I mean, he comes right out of it. He knows that Bible. Right. He beat up on the Catholic Church. He used, the F word for homosexuals. Yeah. Or he'll say it out loud. Talking about the priests and the little boys. Even I thought, I said, I don't hear him attacking Jews, but I checked some more. I said, no, he's getting on Israel. Yeah. But then, he gets on the Nation of Islam. And he has a bully pulpit.
Yes, right. He does.
Now, he doesn't teach to save. He doesn't teach for people to understand, to take away ignorance. He teaches to beat you up, to win, to beat you in a debate. That's his thing. And he has a large following, but many of the others who are not in his group are very unhappy with him. Now, if you don't believe as he believes, then you're wrong.
Right. Come on.
Now, I just want to reiterate that if you listen to him, a lot of what he teaches, we believe in also. Right. But he went after the Nation of Islam. And I'm listening to something. I didn't listen to a lot of it because I couldn't, I was getting a little too upset. One of the things I heard him say when he argued, he said that when we teach, or it was taught in the Nation of Islam, that Allah created himself in the womb of triple darkness. And then he went to the Quran. This brother went to the Maulana Muhammad Ali version. He went to our weapon to take our head off with it. Right. He said, and he said, praise be to Allah, who created the heavens and the earth and made the darkness and light. And he said, it says right here in the Holy Quran that God made the darkness. So how did he come from darkness if he made the darkness? So he said, because of that, you can't believe anything Louis Farrakhan or Honorable Ashton says, that they are liars. That's what he said. Now, but it's so easy to defend.
Right.
Come on. Yeah, go ahead.
Because the brother came, like I said, came out of the Holy Quran. But if he would have read the footnote, because remember, Arabic, you can't take Arabic and take it word for word and transfer it over. Sometimes you might have one word in Arabic, and you got to have a whole page or a paragraph to explain what that word means.
That's right.
You know, Spanish, you can almost go word for word to English and back and forth.
Right.
But Arabic, sometimes you need a bit of an explanation because Arabic is very descriptive, very mathematical.
Right.
Okay? Now, if you'd have read the footnote, right under it, the footnote says, the words that Allah is the maker of darkness and light are directed against the dualistic doctrine of the Magian religion, which holds light and darkness to be co-eternal principles. Defend. It's defended.
Right.
But I don't think there was anybody arguing with him at that point. So he just said that and said, if that's what they say, then anything, he didn't say honorable, he said anything Elijah Muhammad and Louis Farrakhan says is a lie. We shouldn't listen to anything because of that one thing.
Go ahead, brother.
Now, what I'm saying, the teachings of Elijah Muhammad is the truth.
Yes, sir.
And can be defended.
Absolutely.
But if we cannot defend what we say we believe, then we could be led astray.
Yes, sir.
An enemy can come to you and defeat you in an argument and get you to follow him.
Right.
Apostle Geno Jennings said that Minister Farrakhan's a lie. He says he's a false prophet. But I could even argue, look at that election he just predicted.
Come on now.
Who would have predicted that'll come out like this?
Come on now.
Nobody could have predicted that. How did was he so sure if he's a false man, if he's a false prophet? Apostle Jennings had an excerpt even from one of the minister's lectures. I mean, he put the minister up on the screen and let us listen to the minister. This brother was ready to fight. And when the minister Farrakhan said that he is more than a prophet, he said, and I want to argue that. How can he put himself out there and say he's more than a prophet? But again, in defense, he didn't say he was greater than a prophet.
Right.
You got to understand English. He said he was more because prophets prophesy. But then someone has to come and walk into the shoes and fulfill the prophecy.
Right.
That's what he's saying he's doing. See, Apostle Jennings knows that Bible. And if we're not, and he says, if it's not in the Bible, then it's not true. But I'll say this like this. If or when, I'll say it like this. If or when Jesus returns, will he teach the same thing that's in the Bible?
No, sir.
Why do we even need him to come back if he's going to come back and teach the same thing you've been having for over 600 years?
Come on, bro.
Why would he teach the same thing? When he comes back, he's going to have a new gospel. He's going to teach something that's not in the Bible. And if you're not willing to listen to something that's not in the Bible or willing to listen to something new, you're going to miss him.
Come on. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, brother.
And what about this comforter?
And it teaches on the comfort.
Go ahead, brother.
In the book of John, it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter.
Yes, sir.
He didn't say him. He said another. And he may abide with you forever. These things I have spoken unto you, being yet present with you. And again, in 26, he says, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, we'll cover that in another lecture. Because we don't believe in ghosts. We'll cover what that means. whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all the things and bring all things to your remembrance. So it's something we forgot, something that was taken away from our memory. Our religion, our folkways, our mores, our norms, our history, our God and the devil and God and the knowledge of self. These things will be given back to our remembrance.
Yes,
something
right.
we forgot, something that was taken away. So the one that comes back is going to teach us something that we have forgotten.
That's right. Come on.
Go ahead, beloved. That's a big point, brother. Great point.
Let's see. All praise due to Allah. I'm trying to stick with this because I'll go on for a tangent and I don't want to do that. So this brother came right out of the Holy Quran. And let's see. Where was I? Come on. Get there. Okay. Here it is. Now, how will you know with the Comforter when he comes? How do you know it's going to be him? You got to know. Otherwise, everybody claims to be the Comforter, right? But Jesus answered them in the book of John. I told you, and ye believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. My works bear witness of me.
Right.
If you do not the works of my Father, believe me not. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. Ooh. So what are the works of Louis Farrakhan and Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Come on, brother. That's
We
right.
take a people, lift them up. We find it in the worst condition, the worst position he can be in. Wake them up, stand them up, clean them up,
Right.
teach them, and then lead them on a straight path. That's the work of Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Also, there was a time when the minister said all this killing of black people. Yeah, white folks killing us, but we're killing ourselves more than white folks are killing us.
Right.
So he went on a stop the killing tour.
Right.
Then he said, in one of the lectures, he said, I'm going to take 1 million men to Washington. He said he saw those words come out of his mouth.
Right.
He wanted to grab them, pull them back, but they were already out there.
Right.
So he went with it. He ran with it. And what happened? The 1 million man march.
That's right. Go ahead. 2 million. That's right.
Now I'm going to speak to Apostle Jennings. Apostle Jennings, you may not agree with Minister Farrakhan. You may not agree with the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. But you see the good that the man is doing.
Right.
He even acknowledged at one point the good that he's doing. He acknowledged it. But why do you attack him? For what reason? If you truly believe the minister is lying, that he's false, that's your belief. But why, brother, why do you have to step out against him to the delight of the enemies of both of us?
That's right.
You don't believe in Minister Farrakhan, that's fine. But don't stop him from doing what he's doing. If he's doing a good work.
Right.
If he's doing the work of God, leave him alone. What it says in Mark. And John answered him, saying, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and he followed not us. And we forbade him because he followed not us. But Jesus said, forbid him not. For there is no man which shall do a miracle in my name that can lightly speak evil of me. For he that is not against us is on our part.
Wow.
So what he's saying is, he may not follow, he may not be in my church.
Right.
He may not be in my church, right? But look at the work he's doing.
Right.
Is he doing godly work? Then why are you stopping him?
Yeah. Come on.
What did the master say?
Go ahead. Come on.
If he's not against us, he's with us. So if what we're teaching, we're saving lives, then we're not against you and we're not against Jesus.
Right.
Instead of attacking Mr. Farrakhan, why don't you sit down with him, brother?
That's right.
You may still not believe in Mr. Farrakhan, that he's the divine man, or you still may not believe it afterwards, but at least you have a more respect for him when you sit down and talk with the man.
Right.
Because you can't sit with that man and come out of there and still
And be stupid.
Right.
exactly. Now, this part I might get in a little trouble for. I'm hoping I don't, but I mean, when I saw it, it just hurt me. It said when a couple of brothers from the Nation of Islam went to Apostle Jennings' church and debated him.
I saw that.
They wasn't even.
That
Those who are silence his people.
Right.
Oh, it was?
Yes, sir.
No wonder.
That wasn't us.
And he went to the mosque. I saw the brother in the mosque, Jennings in the mosque.
Okay.
He was with
When he
silence.
was younger, that's right.
Okay, so I'll just say this then, and if you're going to debate this man, prepare for it.
That's right.
Because, first of all, you go to his church in front of his congregation, that's a hostile environment.
That's right. Come on.
Now, and the same type of thing happened to me in Colorado Springs. I went to, it was Colorado Springs Christian Fellowship. Christian Fellowship. Now the title itself said, come fellowship. I was invited to the church, so I went to fellowship.
Come on.
I said, well, I don't have time to go for the whole church, but I'll go for the Bible study. Say the Bible study from 10 to 11. I went there about 2 minutes to 10. An 11-piece band was already jamming.
Yeah.
And they jammed for another half an hour. So by 10:30, I'm thinking, when is Bible study? Now, it's over 300 people, I think, in the church. Now, and so the pastor, who's a female, is a female pastor. Her son, the assistant, started off, so he got up and started speaking. And I always kind of pull out my notepad and start taking some notes when I hear something, I can maybe use.
That's right. Come on.
And when he started talking about something, after a while, I kind of looked up at him and put my pad in my pocket, because I say I can see where he's going.
Right.
Because he's talking about these people, these ponytail wearing so-and-so, and they come in here, tell them, don't let the doorknob hit you on the way out. And these other people come in, and he was saying things like, you got to be right to come in this church. Really? You got to be well to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Come on. That's right.
You got to be free from disease to go see the doctor.
Come on.
Doesn't make sense. But he said, and so that's when I'm saying, okay, he's coming. I can tell where he was going with it.
Right.
And then it wasn't long. He said, and these bow tie wearing people, and I'm the only one sitting in the church with a bow tie on.
Yeah. Right.
These bow tie wearing people who saying the white man's the devil and black man is God, and people laughing. And I said, now I can get up and say something,
Exactly.
but I'm in a hostile situation here.
Right.
Come on.
There's no sense in it. This is bad. I can't win this. So I just got up and left.
Straight up.
Now, the guy who was, the usher at the door, I gave him a little piece of my mind, but, that was just to kind of get some of that off of me.
Come on.
Because I was mad. I went and sat in the car, and I said, okay, Allah, why did you allow this to happen? What is it that I'm supposed to learn? Because apparently I'm supposed to learn something from this.
That's right.
And then I thought about it, said, do I teach like that? Do I beat up on people when they come in? Do I beat up on Christians and gays and everybody when they come in? And so I went and, because I always taped all my lectures every time I got up, I went and started listening to my lectures. And yes, I did. I beat up on people. That's not the way Minister Farrakhan does it.
That's right.
That's right.
So if you beat up on somebody, they ain't coming back. They don't want to listen to nothing you got to say anymore.
Right.
So that's when I started changing and said, okay, I have to do more teaching. And because I was trying to imitate Brother Khalid, me, I'll be pleased with him. I was trying to imitate Malcolm, the hook nose cracker, yeah. But I learned from that you can't do that
Yeah.
and teach somebody. And also, I just want to say, hope I don't run out of time. If you're going to prepare for to debate this man or anybody like him, see, I coached Little League football for about 33 years. And that's 33 years, and sometime it was fall and spring. So it was about 45 seasons.
Yes, sir.
Out of 45 seasons, I had 2 losing seasons. I had many championships, many undefeated seasons. I was pretty good at it. Sometimes my team would beat teams that had better talent. But I would scout, as everybody do. It's not cheating. Everybody does it if you're a good coach.
Right.
Pros do it. you go and scout and see the weaknesses and strengths of the other team. I would do that, and then I'd go to bring that information back to my team, and we prepare. Then we go and beat the stew out of the next team because I know the strengths and weaknesses. One time I almost got in a fight with a parent. I was scouting a team that was like 0-4. We were 4-0, and I went there to scout them. He came up. He recognized me as the coach of the number one team. Said, "Why are you out here? You're stealing our plays. You know, you 0-4." I'm 4-0. I ain't stealing nothing from you. I never go to steal anything. I go to look at your weaknesses and your strengths.
Right.
How you're thinking, if I can get in your mind. Okay, how do you do it? You know, if you got third long, do you pass? You don't pass, that means you don't have a passing game. Okay, I know that. Okay, so I'm learning things.
Right.
I'm not copying anything from you. I got my stuff. But, like I said, I scouted. Now, in a debate with a brother, and I thought he said it was from the Nation of Islam. In a debate with his brother, Apostle Jennings argued that God is not a man.
Yeah. I seen it too.
He said the same thing. He used the same thing that Reverend Price used,
Right.
you know, some 20 years ago when Reverend Price came out against the Nation of Islam, and brother Tony at the time, now brother Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad,
That's right.
he had a 10-part rebuttal to that. He called the Truth Hour.
That's right.
And this brother Jennings had the same thing here. He said in Numbers 23, he said, it says right here, God is not a man. And he stopped right there. I said, that's the same thing
Exactly.
that Reverend Price did. And Brother Tony at the time, it was called, he said his wife pointed out to him, because she was an English major, said, no, that's not what that's saying. Look at it. It says, God is not a man, comma. Didn't say period. It said, God is not a man that he should lie. It's not saying God is not a man. It's saying God is telling the type of man that God is, or God is not. So when he says right here, God is not a man, I'm saying, get him, brother. You get him. You know, come on.
That's easy. Come on.
Yeah, that's easy. I can do that.
Yeah.
And the brother's just sitting there,
Lord have mercy.
eyes big. Man,
Lord have mercy.
now I'm rooting for the brother, but you know, he kind of let me down.
Right.
He could have gone here. He could have said in Numbers. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh. Go there, brother. Defend yourself.
Come on.
Defend the teachings. Justified in the spirit.
Come on.
Now, Apostle Jennings came back, you know, it says right here in John, God is a spirit. Honorable Elijah Muhammad pointed out to us that that's the only place in the Bible that God is referred to as a spirit.
That's right.
The only place. Every other place, Adam heard the footsteps of God. Remember, Abraham in the plains of Mamre saw 3 men come to him. One of them was the Lord. He asked him if you were hungry. Asked Sarah to fix some food for him. Sit down. He had something to sit down on. He ate.
Right.
You heard his footsteps. Moses sat and met with him face to face. Face.
Come on.
Like a man speaking to his friend.
Go ahead. Teach.
You speak to a spirit like this, maybe. I don't know. Your friend, I'm going to look him in the face. His arm is too short. It's not too short. You know, in the book of Genesis, it says we were made in the image. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? An image. That means what's there looks just like what's out here. So we're made in the image. Defend it, brother.
That's right. Come on.
Apostle Jennings knows that Bible. He's familiar with the Holy Quran. He referenced it to make his points. He also knows the history of the Nation of Islam. He referenced that on occasion.
Right.
The history, he'll come back and fight you with your own history, what we teach. See, Apostle Jennings did his scouting report.
Teach.
He knows what he knows, and he knows what we know. But if we go there to debate him and we know what we know, but we don't know what he knows,
Right.
then we're going to lose.
Yes, sir.
Come on, go ahead.
And again, I don't want to be slanderous, but if that wasn't real brothers from the nation,
No, they would be silent.
okay. So I don't have to worry about slander. Yeah, and he debated the brothers. He made the brothers look silly. And I don't want to, like I said, didn't want to slander, but, with my limited knowledge, I could have done better than that.
Right.
I don't want to put myself like I'm all that. I'm not all that. But
Come on.
with the help of God,
Come on.
if I'm going to go and debate somebody, I'm going to prepare for that debate or I ain't going to show up.
Straight up. That's right. That's how we are.
You ever had a boxer go in all fat and flabby? Ask Mike Tyson about that when he fought Buster Douglas when they're not prepared.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now, Apostle Jennings, make sure I don't miss anything. So we know that what we have is the truth, and when we speak about this truth, we can't be weak in our defense. Apostle Jennings may not agree with Mr. Farrakhan, but here it says, then the Jews took up stones against him. Jesus answered them, many good works have I showed you from my Father. For which of those works do you stone me?
Teach. Come on.
Now, all the good that he's doing. So that's a question I'd have.
That's right.
But you see the good the minister's doing. He even bore witness to it.
Yeah.
For which of these things do you stone him for? Why do we say Minister Farrakhan is the Christ today? Why do we say that? Because he's walking through the scripture. Scripture was written a script for the future. Scripture, a script for the future. It's written, and somebody in the future is going to walk in that line.
That's right. That's right.
Right in those footsteps. Somebody's going to walk in there. Who's walking in it today?
Come on.
Then he is that Christ.
Right.
That's why we say it.
Go ahead.
Because he's walking in the footsteps. Now, do you believe, Apostle Jennings, that this man, Louis Farrakhan, could call nearly 2 million men to Washington, D.C., where he called one, nearly 2 million showed up? And what did they show up for? Like January 6th to tear the building down? No.
No, sir.
For atonement, reconciliation, responsibility.
That's right.
How can this man call this march without the help of God?
They never talk about that, brother. Go ahead.
Then what he's saying is then that Louis Farrakhan has the power to call all these men
Right.
without God.
Go
Are
ahead.
you saying that?
No, no.
No, sir. Go ahead.
Sir.
During the Million Man March, remember those who were there? Perfect weather.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold.
Right. Right.
No, I've heard many people talk about miracles. One told me that he's a diabetic and it didn't take any insulin that day. None.
14 hours.
Yeah, out there 14 hours standing up. No insulin, and it didn't bother him. That's a miracle.
Yes, that's right. Yes, sir.
There was no drinking, no doping, no arrest, no fights. We gave the world a demonstration of peace because the world was looking.
That's right. Come on.
And we gave ourselves a glimpse of heaven.
Right.
Now, after returning, the minister said that Merle Evers told him that she had to hire new staff to take on the influx of people joining the organization. Because at the end of the Million Man March, the minister said, go and join a church. Go and join an organization that's doing something positive. Go join that. And she wasn't the only one. There was others who said they had to put on extra staff to take on the influx of people coming in and joining. I think it was 2,500 black children adopted after that. So, for which of these works do you stone him?
Right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
See, in my conclusion, I'll just say this.
What?
If I was a debate, one thing I don't know if I'd go to his church and do it.
Right.
But if I was to debate, the first thing I would ask, or first thing I would say is, why are we debating?
Teach Muhammad. Teach Muhammad.
Good question.
Shouldn't we sit down and dialogue first
Yeah.
instead of airing out
That's what
with what we teach?
that's what matters.
Let us do it.
Yes, sir.
That's what matters.
Don't stop us because we have philosophical differences. Remember, the best religion is not who is the most right.
Come on now.
The best religion is not who is the loudest, who can beat up on others,
Right.
who can win a debate,
Teach on that golden rule.
or who has the largest following. The best religion is to do unto others as others have do unto you.
That's right. Come on.
So-
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I pray that I got this across. Got it done a lot sooner than I timed it, so I hope I didn't miss something. But if I did miss something, then it was Allah's will. So I pray that you got something out of what I said today. And brother, you're just showing up. I hope that it be on YouTube. Check it out and see if you get something out of it. And I leave you now as I greet you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wow. Sir.
So I will want all praise due to Allah.
Thanks for watching, you guys. We both love and appreciate you for doing so, but we need for you to take some action and do us 1 or 2 or maybe 3 more favors. And that is, go ahead and smash that like button, share it if you really dig the video, and also subscribe. That way you'll get a bell ding, a notification every time we post something, and it also helps us with regards to the algorithm that your people like to run. So go ahead and do that, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.